Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and over the course of the past 10 days, 10, 11 days, there's been this war being waged on Onision on YouTube, and it's not without merit. Let's just be perfectly frank here. He's a piece of shit. He's just a horrible human being, and he knows he's a horrible human being, but he uses that in order to essentially maintain the identity of Onision, right? He wants you to be mad at him. He wants even me to make this kind of video because he, in his narcissistic, sociopathic mind, is going to give him that level of validation that lets him surprisingly sleep at night. But this is not the type of video that you're going to see come from someone like Blair White or Mr. Repzion. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about the type of content that he makes. I want to touch upon the legality of the type of content that he makes. Now, a lot of people out there have been making the claim that he is a fucking pedophile, right? Like, take a look at this article here from Heat Street. This is kind of what kicked this particular leg of anti-Onision movements off. So William Hicks on Heat Street on December 20th wrote, "YouTuber Onision runs creepy forum where young teenage girls post photos in their underwear. This has been covered by Keemstar, Jacqueline Glenn, Mr. Repzion, Blair White, a whole litany of other YouTubers have talked about this. And as a result of that, it's only further enraged Onision. Like, it did actually kind of touch on a couple things with him, and that just drove him crazy. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun to watch those videos because he is raging when he starts calling Blair White a cunt and comparing her to Caitlyn Jenner. This dude, by the way, considers himself like the #1 male feminist on YouTube, and he's calling a trans woman a cunt and everything else. Again, further proving that feminism, that male feminists are pretty much in it simply for the sex that they may or may not get. But Onision, I'm pretty sure he gets it because he married a girl that was, what, 18 when they got married, started dating when she was 17 in New Mexico, I do believe, which I did look it up. The legal age of consent there is 17. So if they were hooking up, bumping uglies, it wasn't illegal. Then they moved to Washington, where the legal age of consent is, in fact, 16 years old. So it makes you kind of question why he chose Washington. Just putting that out there as food for thought. But this particular article, like I said, triggered the whole thing off. So then you come over here to Onision Speaks. This is where he does these videos on these girls. And of course, he's got this one now called "She Lied to You." And again, it's this 18-minute rant going off against Blair White, which is pretty fucking hysterical to watch, in my goddamn opinion. Because it's just, he's mad. Like, he is butt mad. And that to me is just like wonderful, because when you're mad, when you're truly angry, that is when you make mistakes. Now, this dude is a cold, calculated, crafty motherfucker, but he's getting angry, which is good because he's going to fuck up. And I was really trying to figure out a way to cover this subject because I don't want to call him a pedophile. I don't think he's a pedophile. I don't think he's a hebephile. I think he definitely has an attraction to younger women, but I think it's of that legal age, or at least what he can get away with. So I'm definitely not making those claims, and I feel that it does kind of walk that fine line when others are making those claims, because even though it's your opinion, you're still kind of skating the edge of slander and defamation. So you got to kind of watch your ass on that one. But that being said, there is some things happening here that I do find to be kind of creepy and possibly borderline illegal. And the reason why is because he does all these videos where he rates young girls. All right. Now, that's the thing. He's rating young girls. Some are under the age of 18. They post images to his forums, and then he uses them in the video. Now, if you come over here to the actual forum, you can see that it's relatively active in a few areas. I was looking around here trying to find like a terms of service or something, and I haven't been able to find it. But when you click over here on register, you can kind of see the terms for agreeing, and it's just a basic forum. You're not agreeing on Onision XYZ to be legally bound to your images being reproduced, right? Like, you're not being that's not part of the agreement. This here says, if you do not agree to be legally bound by all the following terms, then please do not access or use the Onision forums. But they don't say anything All he says here is you agree not to post any abusive, obscene, vulgar, slanderous, hateful, threatening, sexually oriented, or any other material that may violate any laws of your country, the country where Onision Forums is hosted, or international law. Again, that's a little bit of an issue because some of those pictures that are up there, while maybe not sexually or intended to be sexual, might still violate some laws of where the country of origin of those photos were taken. Now, we don't know if all of those images are coming from the United States. We don't even know what state in the United States. As I mentioned before, the age of consent does vary from state to state. California's and Oregon are, I think, are 18. Like I said, Washington is 16 years old and everything else. So it's like there's varying degrees of ages of consent here, which do come into question. And how much of that content on here is sexually oriented, right? We don't know. We don't know. Again, it'd be entirely up to basically kind of like a court of law to determine what is or what isn't. And then this also boils down to parents finding out if their children posted photos to this particular forum. But what I find to be very fascinating here is the subject matter of the images themselves. So, okay. There's a constant debate about who is the legal copyright owner of photos taken of children. Okay, I do believe in Austria, like they're changing the law to where children actually do have the right to privacy of the images that their parents take, so they can tell them don't post these on social media. And there's other things of like whoever took the photo is really the owner of the image, and there's all these kind of complications with copyright law and personal privacy rights when it comes to images, and that's going to apply to, well, underage kids posting photos on this forum. Do those comply with those particular guidelines? But then you come into the question of whether or not when Onision posts these photos, it is legal for him to do so. Now, the content itself may not be sexually oriented or sexual in nature. But again, that would entirely be up to the person making the claim and then taking it to a court of law. But it does raise a question of the privacy rights and the reproduction ability of those images. Now, when he makes these kind of videos, right, when he does these kind of videos and everything, have Onision rate you 1 out of 10. Okay, I'm not going to bring the video up, but there's a thumbnail right there. See a couple girls in there. They obviously look over the age of 18, so there's nothing to be called into question there. However, those people that are under the age of 18, do they have the legal ability to share those photos for reproduction? Right? Now, and does Onision secure a model release form from those children in order to commercially reproduce those images? See, those images are not fair use because they're not in the subject of newsworthy. Okay, they're not in the news. It's not current. It's not talking about a topical event. All right. A lot of what I do is use images that are definitely in the realm of fair use because they're covering a newsworthy event. A 13-year-old asking a 31-year-old male from Seattle whether or not she's hot and to critique her body is not news. I'm sorry, Greg. It's not news, no matter how much you want it to be. So you have to ask yourself whether or not these kids are signing consent forms, model release forms. Because if he's reproducing them commercially, which he is, all the ads are turned on, he's making a killing off of it, it's considered commercial use at that point. Is it legal for him to do so? And if you come over here, you can take a look at the American Society of Media Photographers about their model release form for a minor child. It says here, this form, in addition to being detailed and formal, is designed for parent or guardian to give permission on behalf of a child or teenager. If you can get both parents to sign, which reduces the risk that one parent will try to revoke the consent given by the other. If the photographers are grown-ups, then use whatever. Okay, who is a minor? In most states, the persons under the age of 18 are minors who do not have legal capacity to sign contracts in their own name. There is such a thing as an emancipated minor who is under 18, but a court order is deemed a legal adult, or by a court order is deemed a legal adult. So whilst most, some of the people that are definitely submitting images are over the age of 18, okay, perfectly fine. And those that are under the age of 18, are they legally allowed to do this? It's an honest to God question. Are they legally allowed to share those photos on that forum? Probably. Okay. But then is Greg legally allowed to reproduce said images in a commercial capacity? Now, that is a question that would really require an attorney. I'm more hypothesizing here. I'm speculating. I'm not making any accusations. I don't have any proof to back any of it up, but this is what I've seen based upon what Greg has said and what other people have found in those forums. So if that's the case then, and he doesn't have model release forms, then if parents of those children were able to find out that their kids' images were used without legal consent given through a model release form for commercial reproduction, then Greg could open himself up to a very serious lawsuit and a very serious set of accusations levied against him that can basically cripple his ass. Now, again, I don't know how much of these model release forms exist. I don't know if Onision here has been able to obtain them, right? Greg's a smart guy. You figure he would know the law in terms of models and release forms and everything for the shit that he does online. I mean, understanding copyright law is one of the things that those of us who do YouTube professionally should have a working grasp of. And honest to God, all the time I spent working in Los Angeles, everything I did required a model release form. You know, being an extra in a music video required a model release form, right? Covering one's ass legally when doing this kind of stuff is something we should be doing, especially for a person who's got 1.9 million subscribers on this one channel. And I don't even know how many on his other channel, but clearly Onision is a big person inside of YouTube. And it just makes me really kind of wonder what would happen to him if one of the parents of the kids were able to see this and find out that their child had their images reproduced in a commercial endeavor that didn't have a model release form signed. All right, everyone, that wraps up this video. My name is Mundane Matt. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe if you're new, check back daily for more content from me, or if you want to know about my life, check out Mundane Chats, or top 5 videos that are awesome as fuck, forbidden knowledge right here. Talk to you guys later, have yourself a good day, and peace out.